ebooks. I love that the Singapore Library allows you to borrow ebooks from anywhere in the world if you have a library card or an ID, and I have both. So hey everyone, it's Aradna. If you follow me on Bluesky or on my Discord server, then you know last month was a pretty good reading month for me. It has been a really long time since I've had such a good reading month. It was a total of 8 books that I managed to finish in a month, which hasn't happened in years. So it was really nice. And I thought I'd give a little recap of what I read and ratings, I guess. We could say in order of how I read them, not in order of how I rated them. But yeah, so we will, first I read Of Dreams and Destiny by Sandhya Menon, which has been on my TBR since I found out there would be a third Saint Rosetta's book, but finding it locally was impossible. This year for my birthday, I got myself a box full of books. I found a website where I could order them, and this was in the stores, so I bought it. You can see that haul on another video, but yeah, so this was a 4-star read for me because I love how easily it is to follow and fall in love with Sandhya's characters. Her stories are always well crafted and not as high stakes as some other fantasy novels. This isn't specifically fantasy, it is more romance, YA romance than fantasy, but I loved it. 4 stars. The characters, again, are very easy to like. I like that there's no third act miscommunication trope in this one, which is one of my most loathed tropes, so I really enjoyed it. Then after that, I wanted to read another standalone, so I read The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. This was 5 stars. 5 stars. I'd give it 10 out of 5 if I could. It changed the trajectory of my reading and of my life. Like, changed my brain chemistry. I have never sat down after reading a book and hugged it, but I did with this. It just was so good. I loved it. I've seen some reviews which criticize certain things, and I'm just like, yeah, but have you considered it makes the atmosphere better? Have you considered it's still great? If you considered, you're wrong. I loved it. I've been recommending this to all my cousins since I finished this. I've called my sister up and I was like, hey, I know you're not so into fantasy, but read this, it will change your life. But yeah, so I loved this one, and it has caused me to go into a bit of a cozy fantasy spiral, which I've got 2 books on reserve in the library. I'm on my 4th cozy fantasy read. It's just altered my brain chemistry. The next one was something of a novella, Booked for Christmas by Lily Menon, which is Sandhya Menon's adult romance pen name. It was short, it was spicy, it was fun, it was very tropey, it felt like a Hallmark movie in novella form, and I loved it. Then after that, I borrowed The Spellshop by Beth Durst from the Singapore Library ebook. But yeah, it was good. It was about a 4-star read for me as well. I enjoyed it. I thought the world building was really interesting. I didn't expect it to be like a fantasy world, because when I was looking for cozy fantasy reads, this came up, and I thought it'd be another secret society type set in our world, urban fantasy, but with Hallmarkish vibes. But it was a fantasy world. It did have those Hallmarkish vibes, but with very fantastical elements, which was a really interesting read. It felt like a hug. Okay, I mean, there were some serious moments. There was this backdrop of political intrigue that does affect the story, but because it is a very cozy fantasy story, it is more about the people in this small town, small village, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. And my next read was not cozy fantasy at all. I received an arc for a book that is releasing in January of Cold Silver Storms. This will be Mylee J. Miller's debut novel, and it's going to be a hell of a novel. This was another like 5-star read for me. It was so intriguing. I've spent most of my read sending Mylee DMs over Discord going, how dare you? But it was really good. The characters are really well developed and interesting and intriguing. I've not seen much that I could compare it to, so I thought it was very original, very fresh. Magic system is something so unique in my opinion, and I think it's gonna be a fantastic series. So I'm getting really excited for Mylee, and I'm really excited for everyone to read it. After that, so that is 5 books that I've read. Okay, so it was 7 books I read in this November, not 8, because I did reread the end of the 3rd Arusha book to refresh my memories, because I couldn't remember whether or not I had finished it. My ARC copy that I got years ago did not have the last few chapters, so I reread the last bit, and I think I was mentally adding that to my tally, and then I read book 4 and book 5 within the span of like a week. Yeah, I finally finished Arusha, and it feels like there's a gaping hole in my life where she used to be, but it was so good. It was very well wrapped up. The way Roshani weaves in Hindu mythology and the different versions of it that have been told over here, because a lot of it was oral mythology, oral like narration in through generations and everything. I mean, you do have the Bhagavad Gita, you do have the Mahabharata written down, but there are biases in the way people tell these myths, and there are different versions of it, like in different aspects of history that color it, right? And the way Roshani weaves these characters, these mythological figures throughout the story is really fascinating, because you see it through the eyes of a young diaspora Indian, and it's just very something that I would have liked to have growing up, but that I'm really thrilled that my daughter has growing up. She's on book 2, okay? She is not in the target audience age. She's reading a bit above her age level for the series, but as I've read the series, I feel like it's fine for her to read it. She's on book 2 already, and she loves the stories, and I'm really glad to have this to share with her. These were both about 4.5 stars for me, and I'm just sad that it's over. But yeah, and then since then, it is early December, I have finished the audiobook I was listening to, which was like an audio drama version of Anne of Green Gables. And I have finished another cozy fantasy story, and I'm reading the sequel currently. I will probably finish that sequel today or tomorrow. But yeah, I will probably do another one of these depending on how many books I read this month. But it was a really good reading month last month. Oh my god, that is a lot of time to I said the word month, but it was a really good reading month. 7 books in the span of a month is really not something I have done in a very long time. I went into a huge reading slump during the pandemic, and then my youngest was really young, so there wasn't a lot of time to do reading for me, and when I did, I was reading a lot of fan fiction, but now she's in preschool, kindergarten, and my older one is in grade school, so there's time to myself where I can read. And even when they are home, they're both like understanding of the fact that sometimes I want to sit and read when I'm having my tea, or they are willing to sit and read on their own. My preschooler can't read, but she likes to pretend she can. She started recognizing letters and making up stories with the pictures, and it's really adorable. And I'm really hoping that I will be able to pass on my love for reading to both of them. My older one already looks to be having that love of reading, that bookwormishness, and my younger one, there's hope yet. So but yeah, this was a great read, great foray back into reading, and I feel like I'll be doing a lot of cozy fantasy reads because it has also given me a story idea to write. And yeah, so that's going to be something I do in 2025, plot that out in full. But how was November as a reading month for you, and do you have a TBR for December? And what is your aim for next year to hit? I have surpassed my Goodreads aim for this year by a lot. By a lot. And my journal has my bookshelves full and extended because I did make it small, and then I decided while I was filling it up to add in the short stories I was reading that friends on Ko-fi have been posting. Shout out to the author Avengers, because all your stories are on that little read this year bookshelf. And yeah, so that is full. My Goodreads aim was 3 times the amount I put because I had only put 5 books, and I feel like next year I'll be putting 10 books, and I'm still gonna leave it low, and we'll see whether I surpass it and how it feels when I do. But yeah, so this was fun. I'm going to go finish the Kiss Curse now. If you like this video and other content like this, sometimes I talk books, sometimes I talk writing, sometimes I do little vlogs about how my weekends are going. Give a like, subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!